Thanks, Paul. Let's get some more views from down the field. A good effort by Stoffel van Doorn outperforming his teammate Jenson Button. Let's get the views of the Belgian.
Stoffel, fantastic job. You must be really pleased.
Yeah, exactly. I think can't really complain how my qualifying went for a first time, and jumping into qualifying, I didn't really know what to expect, but I had a good feeling from yesterday in practice too. Practice 3 this morning was a little bit compromised, but overall we managed to get some laps in, and I felt really confident in the car. And yeah, then this afternoon I think we more or less maximized our chances. I think to out-qualify Jenson was a little bit of a surprise maybe. I knew I was very close to him after the practice session, but yeah, anyway, first qualifying session, and I think I can be fairly happy with it.
There's an awful lot of pressure on drivers now in this qualifying format, isn't there? How did you find it?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you only get a couple of shots to really get through to Q2, and when you only have one lap, it puts some pressure on the drivers, definitely. I think today was quite a good lap. There's always some bits you can improve, and yeah, I mean, if I would have had another chance, maybe I could have done better. But it's the same for everybody, and P12, that's what it is now.
Can you get in the points tomorrow? I know this track's been good to you in the past, and it's one you go very well at.
Well, I wouldn't really make any predictions for tomorrow. I think today the qualifying was a good result. There's lots of things to analyze before tomorrow's race. Different strategies. But I mean, I feel confident that I can do a good job. Where it will bring us, it's still a bit early to say. We'll see tomorrow. Thank you.
Not bad for starters, Johnny.
No, I think it was just nice with the progression, wasn't it? From yesterday to this morning, as you said, a bit compromised, but then that maturity sort of really came to the fore when it really mattered, and he really did deliver. Very calm. You can see how calm he is when he's there, but I think when he's in the car, it's exactly the same thing. Just seems to be able to switch it on when he needs to.
Yeah, he got in. He was supposed to get here anyway on Friday morning, but he got in then. It doesn't look like jet lag has affected him at all. Right, Ted's got a couple of big guns from McLaren with him.
Well, gentlemen, it's good to see you. First time we've heard from you, Ron, about how frustrating I know this weekend has been for you with Fernando being unable to drive.
Well, it's frustrating because we're a data-driven team. The scans that were looked at were Monday scans, and we just wanted the opportunity to have Fernando scanned again this morning, and if he was clear, then fine. If he wasn't clear, not fine. But, just to say, well, we're not prepared to go through a logical process was a bit frustrating.
I mean, is this an indication of a sort of health and safety Formula One, or do you have to follow doctor's orders, even though you say that, maybe the process wasn't?
I mean, I think normally sporting teams, football teams, ski teams, most teams determine whether their players are fit to compete, and I fully recognise that the position of a doctor in Formula One is to determine the safety of all the drivers. I don't think there was anything that could have come out of this that would have jeopardised anybody's safety as regards the other drivers, and it's really for Fernando and the team to affect a decision. But we are very mindful of the role of the FIA and the doctor, but we of course live by their decisions, but it would have been nice to take a decision against current data. So 5 days after, I think the situation could have been different, and that's all we wanted to do. We weren't insisting, we just said, look, let's look at the new data. The doctors in Europe disagreed with the doctors here. So it wasn't a black and white situation.
A quick word from both of you on Stoffel, how he's done on his maiden Grand Prix weekend.
Well, rather well. Obviously, he didn't put a foot wrong so far. He stepped in. I've seen we can be happy with the preparation we did with him, because he did well, very well.
And where did Jenson's pace from Friday go?
We still have it. We still have it. Don't worry. We have not played with any fuel level or any story. We run our planning every weekend the same as previous weekend, and the next weekend will be the same. It's just I think most of the performance as well coming on Saturday is coming from the PU. You can even see in the last run Mercedes found another half a second, so they must have different switches.
Okay. Last word to you, Ron, about your Spanish superstar. He's got 2 World Championships. He said that if he retired without a 3rd World Championship, it wouldn't be the end of the world. for him, but what's your view about his continuing motivation, his continuing ability?
He's the fastest driver in Formula One. I don't think there's very many people that don't believe that, and it's for us to provide him with a chassis and engine that's capable of doing the job. I think but as I've so repeatedly said, if you want to win a world championship, you have to have the absolute focus of an engine partner. And we're here to win world championships, and that means we will and believe in Honda. We believe in Honda, and we will achieve with Honda, but it's taking a little longer than we'd like, but the outcome's inevitable. We will get there.
Ron, Eric, thank you very much.
I think Ron disagrees with your earlier comment, Johnny.
Yeah, well, I think he's down that end of the paddock.
Right.
That's the fastest one in the world.
Let's come to the doctor, though. The doctor in question, the FIA doctor, is Jean-Charles Piet. It's his word against other doctors' words, and Ron was talking about contrasting opinions. In your mind, if the driver feels that he is healthy enough to race, should he be given the final say, or can you understand why the FIA would do it if it's going to endanger other drivers, in their opinion?
Well, the FIA have to protect themselves, and if they think there's a small risk, the doctor's here for a reason. He's qualified to say, at what risk it is. You can't go by in it. If it's the same for everyone, you'd hope it's the same opinion from everyone. But if you want to race a car, I'm sure you want to get in it. And ultimately, maybe it's something Fernando can't feel what you can see in the scan. So again, without seeing it all, it's very hard to say. But
Yeah, I think Ron was spot on, though, saying that they wanted to sort of just do a little more sort of investigation to say, look, it was 5 days ago, now everything's right. So I think they were trying to do the right thing, but everybody was just saying, well, no.
Would you be knocking down that door? So, I want to drive. Would you drive with broken ribs? I mean, it would be painful. Martin was saying he would.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I've done it with with broken feet, so I know how difficult it is. But it's amazing what the adrenaline does for one. And I think Ron and Fernando did try very hard banging on that door, but they just obviously weren't listening.
Didn't work for them. Let's hear from your old teammate, Nico Hulkenberg. P8 for him.
Nico, P8. P8, are you pleased with that?
Yes, I mean, of course, why not? It's pretty good. I think so far this weekend has been a little bit of a struggle, so it's actually a bit surprising that we made it. Car got pretty much better and better throughout qualifying with the track improvement and the temperatures coming down, so it was good.
You're one of those teams where P8, P9, you get to start on your choice of tyres, you get to start on your used super softs. Would you have preferred to start on a new set in the race tomorrow and have your choice?
It's always nice to start on a new set, but I think I'm happy to have one more grid position towards the front. I think that's good here.
You've got the Williams in front of you and the Red Bulls. Are they within reach or are they out of reach? Is it a case of maintaining position tomorrow?
I think it will be pretty difficult to crack them tomorrow, but we'll find out. We'll fight hard as always. Hopefully we can keep up with them and give them a race, but I'm not sure really.
Can you do anything with the tyres? Now we've got 3 choices for the race. Your car's usually pretty good on tyres and tyre deck. Can you do something with that around here? Can you take advantage of that?
We will try.
You've done it before, 2012. You made the 2-stop strategy work when the rest were on 3s, didn't you? That worked to your advantage, 4th.
Yeah, it does, but crucially, I think the key point is you come in here with a structure, you come in here with trying to achieve that, you compromise on setup, you compromise on everything else. But Force India, they've got a very good tyre man. I know that. If you've got the relationship with him, he can be helping, you can be feeding it through. But it seems to be, very difficult this year. It looks like 3-stop is the quicker way. So somebody has to try it. I mean, it has to be tried. But at the end, it could all be a mess.
Yeah, well, again, I think it's going to test everybody as normal. I saw Roman a little bit earlier on. He's actually happy where he is because he's got an extra set of tyres. So there could be a scenario where they come into play.
Yeah, we keep talking about it outside of that top 8. So you've got the free choice of tyres. Just in behind seems to be almost a favoured position for those in the midfield now, or the ahead of the midfield.
Yeah, it does, because it gives you an element of flexibility. It gives you something you can work away. You've not got to make a decision. You can look at the weather tomorrow. The temperatures are fluctuating here. It can be very hot or very cool, but it all comes down to how heavy your right foot is and how much you want to stand on that loud pedal, tomorrow in the early laps.
Nico and Lewis have been speaking with Rachel.
Lewis, congratulations. You called it a sexy lap. It was the fastest ever lap in Formula 1 around here, even from the V10 era.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's so much fun when you do finally get a lap. Some part of it was a relief, obviously, to actually finally put a lap together, particularly the lap before was okay. But I think I was down already that lap to Nico up into that corner, and then I went off and went wide and lost it. And so I knew that I had to, if I was going into that last lap, I had to be all out and get everything and more. And come around at least 2-3 tenths ahead, because Nico was going to go and improve. So so happy when I came across the line. I knew at the time that it was a sick lap, but I was just afterwards just my fingers crossed, just thinking, hopefully he hasn't got it, because all weekend I finish a lap, boom, and he goes quicker. Finish a lap and he goes quicker. So it was nice to finally be at the top.
It did look, when you got out of the car, like it meant a lot to you. It always does to get pole, but particularly today it looked like it meant a lot. And there's a big psychological boost, I guess, for you going into tomorrow.
It does mean a lot, and surprisingly, racing a long time. It's 23 years and 10 years in Formula 1. It felt just like my first pole. Just that. Honestly, if you could have heard what I was saying on my radio the whole way around, I nearly lost my voice. Just through, just like scoring a goal. It's such a great feeling, and reaching your goal at that point. So, and then that obviously puts us in good stead for tomorrow's race. Ultimately, I actually set my car up for the race, and so that's why I think all weekend I've been struggling a little bit more, perhaps, than Nico. So let's hope that shows in the race.
It was said in the presser that pole's not that important here because anything can happen. Do you believe that?
Oh, I'd imagine he would say that, because in the past he started pole and I won the race from second. So I think pole is always, position is always important. Of course, so much can happen here, tire degradation, all those kind of things, safety cars and whatever. So of course, but it's definitely a nice place to start.
Nico, every time he put a lap in, you went quicker until that very final lap. Such a small margin to be in P2 today.
Yeah, I didn't. I was pretty sure that I was 100% sure I've got pole with that lap in the end, and Lewis just managed to beat it with 77 thousandths or whatever it was, which is the blink of an eye, not even less. So that was disappointing for sure. But if there's one track where pole position isn't as important, it's here in Bahrain. So much can happen tomorrow. We've always seen big battles, and that overtaking is possible here. So I look forward to a really interesting race with a lot of opportunities.
Do you think strategy can come into play for you? Do you think you could do a split strategy within the team? Is there anything you can do if, say, the start goes to plan, and in terms of both of you two getting away ahead of the Ferraris? Is there something you can do? Or is it purely just overtaking them on the track?
Well, plan-wise, first of all, we're going to do the best possible strategy, and then it's an internal battle, Lewis, me against Lewis. That's what we're planning for. And of course, we do think Ferrari is going to be a big threat, so we need to keep an eye on them. But for now, it's the two of us.
Their race pace has been really strong as well, and obviously in Australia, when they got ahead at the start, it was tricky to overtake. What do you do tomorrow if they do get ahead at the start, and what work have you been doing to try and make sure that doesn't happen?
We've been working hard on our starts because they were better in Australia, and we have improved. It's not perfect yet. It's difficult to make big steps, in such a short amount of space of time, but we're confident that we'll be okay.
And if they get ahead, what's the plan?
Hunt them down.
So they have been working on their starts. Paul, perhaps you could highlight the differences that some of these teams might be employing just with the single paddle and the clutch.
Yeah, the single paddle thing is exactly the same. There's no difference in terms of how the process is. Instead of letting go of the second clutch paddle, you essentially have the second bite point found on the first paddle, which you would have before. But the big point is the torque maps have been restricted, so how much power the engine's going to deliver, how much you can play with that in the wake phase of the start to then releasing the power. Now, people are saying Ferrari have a lot more aggressive torque map, whereas Mercedes have gone for a bit more of a linear one, which gives you better drivability through the whole stint. So it comes down to how you want to deliver that, and maybe that's the thing that makes a difference in Melbourne.
To that end, then, they're doing something differently. Can you expect much difference tomorrow in the starts? Do you think that Ferrari will have an advantage in that area?
If you say on Melbourne, yes, but no. I believe that Mercedes, they have to go for the race starts the same as what they were last year. It's a different process of doing that, but from what I believe, it should be the same if it's a perfect start. But maybe the Ferrari one's just a bit more forgiving, and they can set it up a bit easier.
Yeah, but Ferrari generally in the past have been very good off the line anyway, so it's some sort of something that they do very, very well. And Merc have to get off initially off that line a little bit better than they are at the moment. Always seems a bit of a creepy initial off the line, and then it starts to go. Ferrari Ferrari, bang, straight off the line.
Okay, can we talk about Romain Grosjean?
Great,
That's right. I mean, I saw you stop him in the paddock and have a conversation with him. The start that they've made is kind of dreamland, isn't it? Particularly from him.
Especially so, coming to a track like this. I've always said this is a really tricky track to get the car really set up correctly. Romain, wealth of experience, seems to be a man who's very happy in his situation that he's got. But Haas, you have to say, is absolutely brilliant and happy he's got those tyres. That was the biggest smile I've seen for a while.
Yeah, away from Melbourne, everybody said it was a bit of a flash in the past. They were lucky with the strategy, but this is a big power, big aero, big brake track. And if you can go there and qualify where they are, they're P9, they're in the best position of probably 7th, 8th, doing something different with tyres. Again, they could find themselves very much in the top 6 again.
We've heard from Valtteri Bottas. Here's his teammate Felipe Massa.
Felipe, P7, got one of those Red Bulls ahead of you and pipped by your teammate today, but was it pretty good qualifying in the end for Williams, do you think?
No, I think pretty good qualifying would have been to be in front of the Red Bulls. We know that he did a very good lap, so I don't know if it would have been enough to be in front of him. But anyway, I mean, we had a very difficult day having the new front wing straight away on the session this morning. The car was completely undrivable. When I tried that front wing, it was too much front flap, too much grip on the front. So we need to balance the car completely for the qualifying. So until the last minute, we were not sure if we use or not the new front wing. So we managed to balance in the better way. Maybe it's not 100% correct, but I think it was okay. And I hope, anyway, the new front wing can give a little bit more for me on the race tomorrow. I don't know, but I think it was a reasonable good qualifying.
That's what I wanted to ask you, actually. Is it an improvement? I take it is that you kept it on, and is it going to help you in the race over your teammate who doesn't have it?
I hope. I think it's too early to say. Valtteri did a very good laps. I mean, he's very good on even running with the old front wing, so I think we need to really analyze everything if he's better or not. He's in front of me, so it's really another reason to analyze 100%.
We saw you guys go out again at the end of Q2 when you didn't need to. What was the reason for that?
Because we know that to use 2 sets of tires in the Q3, you need to be in the top 4. It was not possible for us to be in the top 4, so that's why Valtteri used his lap on the Q2 and I didn't.
Let's just go back to a man that we talked about in between qualifying sessions there, one of your old teammates, Pascal Wehrlein. It was a great effort by him.
Yeah, it was, and I think even more, manner. It shows that they've got the pace. It shows that they're going to be taking the battle up to the guys like McLaren and where that goes from there. But it's crucial for them.
I'm going to ditch you. Don't take any offence to this, but Sebastian Vettel, can we walk and talk? Is that okay?
I can't do 2 things at the same time.
If you want to stand, that's fine by me. Satisfied?
Yeah, I am. Obviously not so much with the gap, especially the last run in Q3. Both of them had a very, very strong lap. The one before we were, within 2 tenths. So we said, well, if the track improves, if we get a good lap in, we might, stay where we were at that time, P2, or even have a crack at pole. But unfortunately, we did not. Nevertheless, the car felt great tonight, and hopefully we can carry that balance into the race.
Okay, I think we can have a quick look at your start and how it panned out in Australia. What's the key here, Sebastian? Have you got some?
Well, the key was that my start was very good and theirs wasn't. So I think you cannot have a much better start than I had. So we really found the best grip that was available. Whereas I think for the 2 in front of me, they were struggling a little bit. I saw Lewis struggling with wheel spin, and then you lose the grip and momentum, and then it makes quite a big difference down to turn 1.
Do you think it's still an area you might have an advantage over them tomorrow?
I hope so. As I said, I don't know how much they were satisfied with their starts. Probably not so much, because they saw ours was better. But it depends whether they know what to fix, know what to do better. If they just had a bad start, or if we're really that much better. I'd hope we were, but looking on average last year, I think we were pretty much the same. So let's see. But for sure, we hope that we have a strong start.
Thanks for your time. Appreciate you talking to us. Good luck tomorrow.